Everybody, this is Coach Eric Broser here in Las Vegas. This is episode number 25 of the Muscle News and Merlin podcast. I'm here with my buddy Kevin, all the way from Malta. How you doing, Kevin?
Okay.
Good. You're a little tired over there. It's kind of late over there.
Yeah, it's late, but it's okay.
It's okay. Well,
Yeah.
we wanted to make sure that we got this show in because, as you could see, we have a very special guest, one of my favorite people on the planet at this point, Ken Flex Wheeler. How you doing? How you
What's
doing?
going on? What's going on, Eric? What's going on,
Yeah.
buddy, over there in Malta? You know what? There's a photographer.
Ray Kassar.
Yes,
I
yes.
was
Wow,
I was with him this weekend.
really?
Because there was a bodybuilding contest and in fact, I don't know if you see it.
No, it's kind of not showing up. There it is.
There it is. There
There
he
he
is.
is.
Yeah, yeah. Great guy, man.
Yeah.
Incredible guy.
Now he's a bodybuilding historian.
Yes, yes, he is. I
And the
remember,
magazines, the magazines he
when he
has.
first started taking photos of us and everything. It was
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. He's a great guy, though.
Yeah, fantastic guy, fantastic. His
Yeah,
knowledge on, but he's been taking photos since Arnold was in his prime. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's unbelievable. So I spent a lot of time with him this weekend. So
Yeah, please
um,
tell him I said hi next time you
yes,
see
I
him.
will. Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
So, guys, we have last time we had Flex on, we talked, a little bit more about his life and how he got started in bodybuilding, and we talked about a lot of kind of deep emotional stuff. We don't want to go there this time. We want to have a little bit of fun with the show. So, we want to talk about one of the things I discussed with you, Flex, in the gym well before the Olympia happened. And I know you didn't go to the Olympia. You were away, right, this year?
Yeah, I know. I was traveling. I was in Bulgaria.
Yeah, okay. So you're in Bulgaria, but of course, I'm sure you kind of still watched everything that was going on. So it was
I
going on with the
did.
Olympia.
I did.
So I really, want to get your perspective on this to start the show. We have a few different things we want to talk about. I want to get your perspective on the Olympia. Um, Talk a little bit about each of the three major men's classes, which I would say would be classic physique, 212, and open. But starting off with the classic physique, Ramon Dino won the show, uh,
Yeah.
and personally, I found his physique to be at that show like just spot on, perfect, unbelievable. Just ran away with it. But what was your perspective on the classic portion of the show? Did you think were you watching that portion of the show as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I was. I mean, first and foremost, congratulations to Ramon. An amazing young man. Um, Amazing background that he came from, for him to finally reach the pinnacle. I know he's been at it for a while, and he finally nailed it. And it's great that the judges are still judging to award him that. Yeah, he looked amazing. Obviously, it's so different looking at photos and videos versus actually being there. But yeah, it was clear cut. Actually, I was shocked that he won. I was like, wow, they actually did it and gave it to him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm so proud of him, and the welcome he got back when he came back to Brazil at the airport,
unbelievable.
everything like that. Yeah, man, I'm so proud of him. Yeah, he's a great, great human being.
Yeah, because he's been at the Dragon's Lair a few times,
Yeah,
and training there, and he's such a friendly, humble guy.
yeah,
So he's just great to talk to and work with. And one of the things that Kevin and I had discussed on the show, which really I think is awesome, is that how in this day and age everybody has a coach, but a lot of people they coach hop. They're one coach, and now this and one show goes by, they already switched to another coach. They don't give a coach a chance
yeah,
to learn. And
yeah,
he even when he had a bad 2024 with Chris Aceto, and everybody's telling him get rid of Chris. He's like, nope, this is my coach. That's another thing that I really like about him is that loyalty that he
yeah,
had to Chris to help. And Chris was, they got it together so that everything was worked out for 2025. It looked amazing. But I really, I'm so against that coach hopping thing, uh, especially the way a lot of guys do it, not giving coaches a chance. And I'm really glad that he stuck to his guns. It's like, no, Chris is my
yeah.
coach.
No,
That's
I
it,
mean, that's kind of like a new fad now. I mean, cats are just jumping all over the place, and it takes a while to get to know a physique and a body. And the body is an amazing, just I don't even know how to explain it, but it will counter everything that you're trying to do, and you're trying to trick it into this mode of losing fat, and especially the most important part is losing water. And it's a trickery that's going on, and there's a certain amount of time that you actually have to make that happen. And if you're just a little bit off, guys will just jump ship and go to another person. But yeah, again, kudos to Ramon. That didn't really happen back in our time. I stuck with Charles and Chad through in and out. That was just my team. But it's sad, but yeah, that's just who Ramon is. I mean, he's just an absolutely great human being, and I'm so happy for him, man. I mean, especially knowing his background and where he came from in Brazil and how he had to live and everything now. And now it is he's the man, and he stayed in Brazil. Well, unlike a lot of people, move to United States because they feel they can make it. So again, there you have it. Somebody who stayed in their own country and actually won. You don't have to come to United States to be a champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, very. He's just that just goes to show his loyalty to his coach, his his family, his friends, his fans, and his country. But yeah, I was so happy for him. I mean, I personally thought that he was so good this year that if Bumstead was still in it, that it would have been a battle between those two. It would not have been a walk in the park. That's how good he was.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But another thing that I mean, we don't have to go crazy on it. I mean, I know that obviously, the second place, he was kind of expecting to win, Mike Summerlin, and he had a whole controversy with his weight and height and all that kind of stuff, which was a very difficult thing to have to deal with so close to the show. So I'm sure that caused a lot of stress. I know he had to lose a ton of weight right before the show, which how difficult that could be because it could like completely ruin your physique. I thought he actually ended the show looking fantastic, even though he had to deal with all that. I just think he just came up against a literally perfect, Ramon. So that was his problem. But in third place, I don't know if you watch everything, but Rough Diesel, did you see his posing routine at that show?
Yeah.
His posing routine was absolutely fun. I think one of the best.
Yeah.
He may be the best poser in all of the sport right now.
Yeah.
He brought back that old school dramatic, like Lila Brada-ish, that whole Francis Benfato, Bob, like he brought it all. And it's so awesome to see. I mean, the classic guys, I think, pay more attention in general to posing than the open guys. But man, I just had he just that routine. I mean, I was there in the audience and I was just like mesmerized by him. I mean, not only did he look fantastic, but that routine was next level,
Yeah, no, I agree with you. In today's bodybuilding, I would have to give it to him. And I know he's very much well known for that. His posing, not only just his near perfect physique, but his posing is just spot on. And, for an old timer like me that came up and where posing mattered, I'm just still happy that somebody out there is paying tribute to the art of bodybuilding, because it truly is an art, and he truly displays it incredibly well.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I was always huge into my posing. I would spend so many weeks putting my routines together when I competed because, it's like to me, bodybuilding, and I'm sure you feel exactly the same way. It's like we as a bodybuilder, you're like a living, breathing piece of artwork, like a living, breathing sculpture. So you should want to present your physique as a work of art. So I never really, I mean, I can't stand, I mean, I know not everybody's a good natural poser and they have to work on it and they're a little bit awkward and stuff, but it's some guys who just go on stage and don't really even look like they have anything that's going with their music. It's kind of background music. I like routines that the music is part of what they're doing, the emotions, the movements. Some guys are just on stage going, just going like this with their ear or trying to get the crowd to cheer. They're walking back and forth from side to side, hitting most musculars. Back, when you were competing, posing in general was just so much more paid attention to. People were like, you were like in the audience, like, what are they going to do today? Like, what are they going to
Yeah,
pose to? What is their routine going to look like? Especially with the great posers, you, Sean Ray, Labrada, those kind of, what are they going to bring this time? And now
yeah,
it's just kind of like most of the guys just go out there, they put on music and hit some shots.
I still think, even though they're not given points or awarded for the posing, I still think the judges take note. I still think if two bodybuilders are on the same level, I think that can, if the judges like what they see, I think that can push them up a place or two because they had such a great routine. I think they see the whole package, the whole show. It's just that can, I think, give you the edge. I mean, against somebody that has the same physique as you, maybe the same condition, and the one guy comes out and poses like a robot, and the other guy comes out like Rough Diesel and, blows everybody away. I think that can give him the edge still. It's not like
yeah,
a waste of time. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, I mean, I come from the era of posing. I come
Of course.
from, Barry DeMay, Arnold, those guys who, took it to a level. I mean, I
Ben
think
Fado.
through Benfado, all those guys, Arnold actually went to a ballerina
Yeah.
just to learn
Yeah,
how to pose and
nice.
everything.
Yeah.
So that was a generation before me. So of course we took note to it, and not only that was it judged, and also you got a prize for being a best poser out there. But and it was competitive against us. I wanted to outshow Arnold. I mean, Sean. I wanted to outshow Kevin, and I knew they were going to bring it. And I watched their routine, like hoping they didn't do a great job, and they did. And I don't know for what reason the judges took that away, but I think because of that, athletes don't put anything into their routine. Like you said, when they walk out, they're already going like this. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think that also has hurt bodybuilding. I
Agreed.
remember Lee Labrada telling me he doesn't really go to shows anymore. He goes, it's not artistic, Flex. He goes, you guys are the last. So
Yeah.
it's entertainment. And like you said, Eric, it's for me, it was an art. And I wanted to present my physique as an art. And you're right. If you have two guys who are 100% spot on, and that one guy knows how to present himself better, of course he's going to get the edge at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it saddens me that it's not judged anymore. I think they should find some way to bring back posing and maybe awarding a fantastic cash prize for best pose or something that makes people
Yeah,
want to pose
yeah,
because frankly, I'm sure everybody feels the same way. Anybody who's been going to shows for as long as we've been going to shows and seen shows, it can get boring. I mean, especially now because there's a gazillion classes, and
yeah,
whatever. So it's like when somebody, you could be on your phone, like just people post, but when somebody comes out and you hear some cool music and they start to see, oh, this guy can pose, you will stop and watch.
yes, of
And
course.
if you can get everybody to kind of pay attention like that somehow, some way to their posing, the crowd is going to be so much more into it. You start, and then of course the people who are not even necessarily, maybe they're friends of bodybuilders, they're not bodybuilders themselves. Even for them, provide some entertainment. To see an
Yeah.
artistic posing routine with a beautiful body, even if you're not a bodybuilder, that's going to grab your eye. So it's going to grab those people too. So
The
I just don't understand why it's not being given any credence in the sport now. It's
and
very
the
odd.
the thing is, this is at the pro level. I mean, I go to a lot of amateur shows within the IFBB in Europe, and these are bodybuilders. They'll have a minute to do a posing routine. Sometimes in that minute, they just blow you away, you know,
Yeah,
with 1 minute. And these
yeah,
guys, they're amateurs. They don't really
yeah,
have to, you know what I mean? And we're
yeah,
talking pro level, and some guys, they got 3 minutes. What do they
yeah,
get?
yeah,
I mean, use it, for,
yeah,
show the people what you've worked on for a whole year or whatever. You know what I mean? I can't really, it blows my mind. I mean, it makes the
yeah.
show so much nicer, and
I
better.
agree. I agree. It's entertaining, and you're right, Eric. I remember people would actually come to shows just to watch certain people pose because they knew they were gonna
Yeah.
put on a routine. I think it also broadens the awareness of our sport, because you'll have somebody that's, like you said, that's not really a fan of bodybuilding. Oh, so and so is competing, and I know they put on a routine. They'll come to that. But again, I agree with you. I don't know why it's like that at all. You know, hopefully something like maybe Arnold brings it back and forces everybody else to bring it back. I don't know.
Remember when there was the couples, when there was the couples?
Yeah.
That was posing. That had to be posing. You know what I mean? So I mean,
like I said, we come from that era before us,
yeah,
where posing was a major thing. I mean, you're a professional, and you need to be a professional in all aspects, not only muscularity and condition, but also the way you look, the way your hair is, the way your pose and shoot are, the way you conduct yourself on stage. You need to be a professional in all those aspects.
Yeah.
And I also think that, you know, for the community that's not necessarily into bodybuilding, it's nice when they can you know, because they, you know, bodybuilders have these reputations. Oh, bodybuilders are stupid, or bodybuilders are lunkheads, or bodybuilders are so big they can barely move. But then you drop into a split on stage, or like you did, or you have you know, Melvin Anthony pulling out breakdance moves on stage, popping and locking, and people go, "Oh crap, these guys can move. These guys can. These guys have flexibility." And it just brings so much. I mean, I don't know. We can go on this topic forever, but just brings so much more to the sport that I think is lost. I hope somebody will just. I don't think it's ever going to go back into the judging, but maybe, you know, a best poser trophy that's with some real money involved will get some people, you know, vying for that.
Get them competitive to want to compete and actually put some time into a posing routine.
Yeah, and even if you know you're not going to be top 5 at the show, but you know you can pose and come away with 10 grand or something, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not?
So anyway, that's Kevin, is there anything else you want to talk about with the classic portion of the Olympia?
No, classic. I actually cheered when Ramon won the show. I thought that he you know, blew everybody away. Now we have to see if he keeps it. He comes back next year, and you know, but I think him and Chris, you know, Chris standing by him and him standing by Chris, you know, that shows that, you know, giving, you know, even coaches, it doesn't mean Chris made a mistake last year. It could have just been, you know, Ramon gets nervous before a show and just starts sweating like crazy. Like it happened to him 2 years in a row, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, things might, you know, the coach can't stay with you all the time. So something happens, you know. I mean, Chris used to show photos of, uh, you know, the late Sean Roden in 2 days before a show, and he says this is not the same guy that stepped on stage when he used to play third and fourth at the Olympia, you know. So things happen 2 days before. So you can't blame the coach all the time. You know, you can't blame the coach. Like, I mean, we can go into the next part with Prague. Eric, what do you think?
Well, I don't want to jump to Prague yet. I want to talk about
you want to keep the Olympia. Sorry.
Here's one. I mean, and this one's definitely going to be an interesting one to talk about. So the 212.
Yeah.
Obviously, Keone won. And I don't know about how you felt about it, Flex, but Sean Clarita came into that show in a condition that I was not expecting. I mean, I thought he was kind of like not even going to be close anymore. He's getting older. But before we even get to Keone, he blew me away. I was like, damn, Sean came to play.
Yeah, he did. He brought up every aspect of his body parts and even brought up his legs and his leg separations, which is the most difficult thing when you get of age. But yeah, he's not playing, and it's great to see. He's still got that fire. He's still got that dog in him. And if Keone would have slipped at all, he would have been there.
I mean, there was a lot of people. I mean, I was reading after prejudging. I was just reading comments.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people that thought that Sean could pull this out. Like, that's how good he looked. And part of this also is, I don't know what you said. You know, you and I, being at Dragon's Lair, had seen Keone for, you know, as he was preparing for the show.
Yeah.
And seeing him at the Dragon's Lair, to me, he looked untouchable. Like, he just looked, it looked to me like 8 weeks out of the show, he could have stepped on stage and it was over. Like, that's how good he was.
I agree.
But I personally, don't think he showed up on stage at the Olympia as good as I had seen him in the gym, or as some of the photos were reflecting, or videos on Instagram. And that's, I'm not knocking him. Something, he wasn't, to me, he wasn't fully peaked. What do you
Yeah.
think? Do you think he was fully peaked, or he was a little off?
No, I agree. And actually I because we were messaging each other before and after prejudging. And then actually after the show, and I asked him, what did he think? And he's like, I was 100%. I go, and I sent him a picture of him posing in a posing room, and a picture of you on stage. And I said, you really think you were better? And he goes, yeah, man, the lights are different. It's different. It's different than it is on stage and everything. And I let him stand on that. But no, how he looked going into the show in a week and 2 weeks out, the target that I thought he was going to make was amazing. Now, I heard a rumor that, he didn't work with his coach
Correct.
after the show, and there was some problems and stuff like that. And I messaged him about that, and he's like, "No, I didn't drop my coach. My coach dropped me after the Olympia. I'm going to make a video and set everybody straight." But so obviously there must have been something going on between them getting ready for the preparation. But yeah, I agree with you, Eric. Definitely.
Yeah, I kind of felt that and again, this is going back to just looking at him in the gym and me literally saying he can win the Open, Mister. Like,
Yeah.
that's how good he looked in the gym. It was just a
Yeah.
freak show.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about conditioning too, like, weeks out, shredded, and I just didn't see it. And, it saddens me. I mean, and the amazing thing about Keone is that Sean came in the shape of his life, and Keone was still able to beat him, which just goes how to show how good he is of a
Sure.
bodybuilder.
Do you
Sure.
think he has like something going on in the midsection? Because he's really
That seems
getting,
to be the complaint. One of the complaints, that it seems he was like a little distended, which he
yeah.
doesn't normally have.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it's not me. I heard, all right, Bob Chicorello was saying, like, it's like he's seeing the same things that Phil Heath went through near the
Mm.
end of, it's like, it's something maybe because it looks like it's,
Pushed
it's
out a little bit, a little
it's
distended.
pushed out, and
Mm.
the abs, there's that, like, all right, it's probably genetics. There's that big space in the middle of the of the abs, it's like something's pushing out, and you get a guy like Sean Clarida next to him, tightened up. It can throw you off, huh? That's what I'm seeing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
definitely. I had asked him about that also, and he goes, I just need to tighten up. That's just wait till see me now. And I know we're on the Olympia, but I want to jump to the show where he went and did his pro debut.
yeah, we were going to talk about that anyway, so we'll
Yeah,
come back to the Olympia. But yeah, we
Prague.
want to talk about Prague.
That's the
So
Prague
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah. So Eric, us seeing him weeks out from the gym, where obviously he was over 220 pounds. Do you think he looked that good going into the show, or did he look better walking around in the gym?
listen, I mean, I love Keon. So if you hear this, this is all with love. Keon,
Of
if you
course,
hear it,
of course.
you're
Yeah,
my brother.
yeah,
No
I think he looked
attacking.
better in the gym. I think he looked better in the gym. Quite honestly, Flex, I think that I don't know what happened. I mean, and listen, we were just saying it before. The body is in such a sensitive state. Weird things can throw you off. Anything from stress in the household, stress from work, family problems, to any kind, trying to eat a food that you're not used to. So many little things could throw off the body, and something can ruin your peak. But to
This is
me,
the
in the
footage.
gym, the way he looked walking around was better than I saw him in
This is in
at the
Prague.
Olympia or at Prague. I just don't think. I think at Prague he looked maybe a little better than the Olympia, but better. He was a little fuller and bigger, but I don't know if that helped him. Like, I
yeah,
think that maybe if he would have come into Prague a little lighter and even tighter with a smaller waist, it might have played off better for him.
So you're seeing
But
this
yeah,
footage.
at the
Yeah,
gym. I mean, look, he looks incredible there. There's no two ways
yeah.
about it. But I
But
I honestly, Flex, I thought he was going to walk into Prague weeks before when he announced it. I thought he was going to walk into Prague and take the show. Like I was
I did too.
sure of
I
it.
did too. I definitely did too.
But
Yeah, I thought he was on that level.
there was an argument that he should have placed higher than Krizo. Okay.
Mm.
Sean Ray thought that the judges need glasses, and they were like Stevie Wonders, and like Steve Weinberger was there. So I did a small video on that. I don't know if you've seen it, but this is Krizo. All right, his waist is wide, okay, but when you get the way I see it, Flex, maybe you have more experience than me. When you get a bigger bodybuilder, taller bodybuilder in this condition, I think he'll have a slight edge um, over Keone
You
because
know, it's it's hard to say because it's kind of based on our judging criteria
yeah,
because you got to go back to Sean Ray's days when he took out guys who were way bigger than him.
it's true.
Leo
Yeah,
Prada, when he took out guys way bigger than him. And even back in Arnold's days, it was never the biggest guy that
yeah,
won the show. It was the guy who had the best lines and condition. So I know the criteria is much different now, where they seem to reward size a little bit more than aesthetics lines. And I hate it because they say, well, he's genetically gifted for that. Well,
yeah,
that's what the sport's about. You know, if you're genetically gifted in a certain you have greater lines, or what I say, it's actually more presence. You have more presence over that other person. That why not still judge that? Isn't this about bodybuilding? You can't say that. But
yeah.
um, I I kind of think Keon should have placed higher than him, just because the structural flaws that Cruzo had. Now Cruzo knows I always send him messages. I mean, he's ungodly muscular, and
Yes,
his
yes. I,
the kiss condition he achieved this time he had never done before.
yeah.
So, I don't know whether it's because he
He's
hadn't
with George.
they
Yeah,
they seen it or whatnot.
he's with Farah now. George Farah is taking care of him.
Okay, okay,
So
yeah,
he changed his long time coach that lives with him in Slovakia. So Al lives in Slovakia as well. So because I know him from the other federation, the elite, the former elite IFBB Pro now they call themselves.
mm.
He's when you see him in real life, do you ever met him? Have you ever met Krizo?
Rizzo? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Huge,
yeah,
huge guy.
He's a freak. The guy's a
He's
freak.
a
I mean,
freak,
he's a straight
and
out
like
freak.
his skin, even when he's in off season, he's like shredded. I
yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah.
just that but now with Farah, he's improving. So we have to see what he's gonna do. But Keon, I was expecting him to win in Prague. You know, I was
Yeah,
I think
I
expecting.
was
most
on
people
Dennis.
were.
I was on Dennis Shane's podcast before that, and I put him to win. You know, if all things were fair, but yeah, for whatever reason, he was like, "Man, I'm going to come in even smaller than I did at Olympia. I'm going to show you guys. People are talking about my stomach. I'm going to show them, and everything." But
He didn't look smaller. He didn't look smaller at Prague. To me, he looked thicker and his waist still looked thicker. I don't feel like he streamlined more for Prague. I don't know. That's just what I saw, and I could be
Good.
wrong, but that's what I saw. I mean, I certainly think he deserved to beat Crizzo, but I was
Um,
expecting him to just come
good.
in weeks before the way he looked at the gym.
um,
I
yeah,
figured he was on. I mean, I was saying the guy's the best physique on the planet right now, and
yeah.
you
I
know,
still think if I mean, in my opinion, and Keon's like a little brother to me. Like you said, this is all in love. I still think people haven't seen him, and he could be a threat in the open class. They haven't seen the best of
oh, he's
their
for
weight.
sure,
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
see that in the gym, and it's kind of like you were saying how Chris Ocita would show pictures of Sean. Like, no, this ain't the same guy.
Yeah,
Guy
yeah,
that showed up in Prague on stage is not the
yeah,
same guy that I seen walking around the gym 2 weeks out, even a month out from the
yeah.
Olympia.
Chris said one good thing after the Prague show. He said this was just a few weeks after the Olympia. Now, if Keon had to set his mind on an open event, all right, 7 months down the line, that would be a different story then,
Hmm.
because he would grow into the show, you know,
Yeah.
not just like Olympia Prague. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he had
Because
put on so much muscle in the off season. I get it. And, you know, he wants to create a legacy in a 212, and he obviously has the ability to do that. He
yeah,
wants to go for a record and be able to break Flex Lewis's record and everything like that. But, you know, it's just sad because he puts on so much pure muscle off season, and to have to diet down to take a lot of that off. You know, that's not the pure sport of bodybuilding. You're supposed to
no,
be the best version you can be. But I get it what he's trying to achieve, and
yeah,
I mean that's something definitely to go for. But yeah, it must be really hard on the body because you go in there to train to get better. And for Keone, we've seen him getting better as actually being bigger. But that doesn't always equate to what you got to bring to the stage.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that Keon is already in the position, and I've had conversations with Flex Lewis about this, where Flex would say to me in his last couple of years of doing 212 that he was shredded to the bone at 225. He could have walked on stage at
Yeah,
225, and he
yeah,
had to literally diet off muscle
yeah,
to get to 212. Like he was a better bodybuilder at 225, which is
yeah.
why I think he finally, when he was going to come back, he was going to do the open. But I think Keon's already in that space now because
I,
he was already, I think I remember at one point
yeah,
in the offseason, I said, and he was, I mean, and like you're talking about a quality. He said he was like 235. And I'm thinking, he does not have, you
yeah,
know, 20 pounds to lose. Like, I mean, 22,
yeah,
23 pounds to lose. He's already in shape. So,
yeah,
I mean, if he keeps, and you know, he's going to, you know, he trains his ass off
yeah.
every day. So, what is it going to be this offseason? 240? I think it's going to get to be the point where he's really going to have to, I mean, suffer to it kind of like when you think about dieting off all your fat, okay, but when you start thinking about dieting off 10, 12 pounds of pure muscle that you work so hard to build, what's the point of building it? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
great.
So it's like I feel like he should not, I mean, not who am I to give an opinion, but I am just saying, and this is what from a person that cares about the guy so much. Like I think maybe one more 212, go ahead, take it up, but I think he's got to start thinking open, 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 because not only for the health of his body and being the best Keon he can be, but also because he still, I believe, can be the best in the world open too. It
Yeah,
just has to be, we have to see the best of Keon. So I think if he just starts to focus on open, he can come into shows 225. I mean, still with a small waist and shredded to the bone. And that's when he's going to be, you know, ultra. I mean, look, Hottie's already won the Olympia. Derek's won the Olympia twice. You know, like you don't have to necessarily be a tall guy. So Keon can be, you know, he could be number one in the world.
yeah.
But I mean, how much bigger are you going to get to diet off all that, you know,
I
that muscle?
agree. I agree. Yeah, I think he's definitely in the same category as Flex Lewis, where, and I remember talking to Flex and having those conversations, and him telling me how actually ill he got from having to shrink down after.
Dangerously, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But he's definitely in that category now. And
Yeah.
yeah, in time and consistency, Keanu is just going to continue to add on just slabs of muscle everywhere. So you're right. At some point, he's going to have to make a decision. I don't know if he has 4 more years to break.
Yeah, to go to 8 Olympias? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, to break Flex's record. I don't think
I
he
think it'd
has.
really be holding himself back from the best Keon he could
Yeah,
possibly be for sure.
yeah,
yeah,
Because it's
yeah,
like you don't go in the gym not to grow. So he's,
yeah.
you know, how
And
much muscle is he going to diet off?
trains like an animal, so you're
An
going to get
animal.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, what did you think about the rest of Prague since we're talking about it? I thought Fitzwater was incredible. What do
spot
you
on.
think?
You know what? I didn't. Where was I? In Prague. I think I was in India when that was going on, and I only paid attention to the open class, and then I just shut my computer off and went back to work and everything. So I didn't really see the rest of the classes.
Oh, but no, but Fitzwater was the open winner, I'm saying. Martin Fitzwater won the open.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
won
yeah,
Prague.
yeah. I thought he looked great. I had thought like Keanu had won, and I'd said that, and when Martin won, I sent him a private message and I just said, congratulations, man. And, even more so impressive hearing a story about how bodybuilding saved his life. And if not, he'd be in prison or dead or something like that. That just goes to show you that, there's a story behind everybody and we don't know those stories, but he absolutely is amazing. And I'm proud of him, man. He believed in himself when other people didn't. And he was able to bring that to the stage, and he's a two-time Prague champion now.
Yeah, and he's now, put himself in a position where he could be top 3 in the world at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I thought he hit it. He, as good as he was at the Olympia, which we'll go back to. I mean, in Prague, I think he was just on another, like when you have those times where you hit it 100% and you know it. I think this was his
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if he had showed up in at the Olympia, what would he
It might
have?
have been a place or two higher. You don't
Yeah,
know. I mean,
definitely.
he reversed it on Samson.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. He did. He did.
but Kevin, can we jump back to the Olympia now to go to the open class, or is there anything else you want to talk about
No,
there?
no, no. I mean, there's something about the Prague that we'll talk about later, but that's not a
Oh
problem.
yeah, okay.
Uh,
So going back to the Olympia, so because we talked about 212 open.
Mm.
Uh, so obviously we had Derek winning. We had Hadi in second. Little controversy there. Um, Andrew third. Then Samson, and then Martin, and then Nick. What was your overall 40,000 foot view of the show? What did you think of the placings? Was there things you agreed with, disagreed with? Um,
Yeah, I took some major heat because I had reposted a post that
yeah.
absolutely went
you next to
viral.
Derek?
Yeah.
I know the one.
Yeah, that was
I,
a yeah.
again, that was a repost, and I actually put the guy on blast. They're like, "Oh wow, Flex, you're gonna throw me under the bus." But first regarding that, I don't believe in comparing errors. I don't believe in that. These guys are trying to do the best they did. We tried to do the best we did, and I don't think they should be compared. But I do believe that the sport guys should get better and better. And I don't actually think that was the best version of Derek that we've seen. Even looking here at the videos of him, he has slight separation, not even like we would normally see in a lat spread throughout his pectorals. You normally see all kind of striations. From the back, yeah, his glutes were in, they were striated, but I think there's like a massive overemphasis on striated glutes that you're in shape, but his frontal shots, his front double bicep, there's not
Yeah.
pure separation that you have going on in there. And, I mean, I think, probably Derek isn't probably happy with me for reposting that. We haven't talked, since then, but, you look here in his double bicep.
There's nothing going on here.
It's
I'm
not
sorry to say.
dry. It's not dry.
No.
Oh,
He's extremely full, but the dryness is just absolutely not there. And,
yeah.
out of first and second place, I think Heidi could have very easily
Adi
been in
was.
second place. Yeah,
I picked Hadi. I felt Hadi won that show. I mean,
Adi
I believe at prejudging, it was Hadi wasn't quite at his best, and so I could see Derek. But at the night show, Hadi came back to me and I think just slammed the door shut. And Steve was working them and making them pose and pose and pose. And Hadi, when I was watching him, with every round of posing, he got harder and
yeah,
harder. And finally, even from the back, because we know Hadi from the front is insane. From the back, sometimes he's not quite as hard. From the back, he got hard as nails. And I just think that he just won the show at night. That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
yeah. I don't know what the guys are doing now, but the level of hardness is just not really there anymore, and the level of
Not like it was in your day. No.
is just not there anymore. Now, yeah, they are incredibly full, but just the hardness and pure separation. I just I'm a little taken back with that because I think that should be a criteria. But now saying that, you do got to judge what the guys are on stage.
Of
You have to
course.
judge that.
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah.
know, and I hate like having not to say something positive about a guy because I know how people can take it personal. You're basically critiquing a person standing up in their underwear, and it's very personal to them. But you know, I hope that you know they understand. It's just my opinion. I'm not God. I'm
Of
not the
course.
law. It's just my opinion, and I
We're
don't
gonna,
mean to by
yeah.
it.
And do you think Samson, because it was said that the judges told him to come in a bit sharper, and for Samson to come in a bit sharper, uh, he had to lose some weight. He really looked off at the Olympia
I thought
compared
this
to
was,
last year.
I mean, again and again, I like Samson, but I think he was terrible at the Olympia.
Yeah.
That
Do you think he should come? He's like another Cedric. He has to come in fuller, bigger, like when he won the Olympia last year, you know?
You know, I seen a video of him guest posing before the
Yeah,
Olympia.
that was good.
like 6 weeks out,
Yeah, that I thought was better than when he brought on stage at the Olympia.
100%,
Yeah.
And we
100%.
all were looking at that video like, oh my God, he's going to crush it. You know, he actually was
Yeah.
leaner. He was bigger, he was fuller, all of that. And, you know, I was, again, I'm trying to look at photos and videos and I'm like, man, I just, you know, is he on or is he off? I couldn't really tell that. But, you know, as it went on and, you know, immediately I'm texting Dexter and I'm texting Dennis, like, what do you guys think? You know, but yeah, it wasn't his best, that's for sure.
Flex, you know, I just want to go back to something because, you know, sometimes you're intending to talk about a certain thing on a show, but then something gets brought up and you said it. And this is something that Kevin and I have discussed and I've discussed with other people, how we wonder why the guys today, because listen, obviously, like we said, when things evolve, you know, car
Supposed to
racing,
get,
the cars get faster, you know, you get better basketball players, you get faster runners, you
yeah,
get bigger linemen, whatever. So
yeah,
bodybuilding should
yeah,
improve. Now,
yeah,
part of the improvement of a big, huge, of course, muscle size is always bodybuilding is bodybuilding.
of
And
course,
even in your day, you still wanted to be big and full,
of
but
course.
the conditioning is completely different. And where I see it the most, you don't really see those splintered striated chests anymore. When people do a back double bicep, you see a big deltoid, but you don't see the striations in the
Yeah,
deltoid. You
yeah,
don't see the crazy, crazy separation in the inner thighs, the the
no,
middle of the thigh.
yeah,
You
that
know,
comes
yes, you
all the
still
way to
see,
the hip flexor. Yeah,
yeah, all the way up. You know, you don't
yeah,
see a lot of
the
people with
cross
great
striation.
ab shots.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, even big guys like Nasser, he was huge, but he had a great ab shot. You know,
yeah, yeah.
you don't see it. You
Cross
don't
striation.
see it.
Yeah,
Um,
Now,
yeah,
if you look at the world, okay, so now we have better, you know, even more variety of equipment. There's honestly, there's way more PEDs that are available now, all kinds of peptides and fat loss drugs that weren't around in the 90s. You know, basically in the 90s, it was still the normal anabolics and growth hormone and just the basics that we whatever. What do you think is going on today? Do you think it's that people are mixing so many different chemicals that it's screwing up the body? Do you think that it's people aren't willing to work as hard as they used to? What is your opinion? Because I've discussed this ad infinitum. What do you think is going on that people aren't getting into that condition anymore? What's your opinion or thought?
you know, my hypothesis on it is like we used things back in the 90s, but it was an additive. We enjoyed working out, we embraced it. It's kind of like having a Mercedes and it's an amazing car and then adding rims to it. It's still a Mercedes. It's an additive where I think I think, you know, drugs are putting first now. They're leaning more on drugs than they are the dieting, the consistency. I won't say that they don't work hard because I see a lot of the guys out there putting in amazing work. I just think that the work ethics is secondary to the drug protocol. I mean, and this is true globally. I remember towards the end of my career of traveling back when seminars were massive. You'd have hundreds of people in the audience. It started to switch over from what's your diet, what's your training regimen to
What do you take?
What do you take?
and I'm like, that's your first question? I'm like, Sheena, I'm like, you guys aren't athletes. You guys are drug addicts, man. That's the first thing you know.
Yeah.
So, and here we have this evolution of these bodybuilders, and I just think, in my opinion, I just think that they lean on drugs more than they do the hard work, and I think it's starting to show throughout their physiques. That's only, I know a lot of times they're like, "Oh, it's the lighting." Yeah, I know, you know, lighting was different back then, but nah, come on, you know, lighting
Yeah,
isn't perfect. It isn't
not the
perfect
lighting.
across the stage.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what.
Let's-
Do you think it's also, I mean, I 100% agree with you, but do you think it's also that the guys today are a little more like, if you looked at the faces of guys getting ready for shows back
Yeah,
then,
there's not.
sunken.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
remember like a great one would be Kevin Levrone, 92, his first Olympia when he went against him.
Yeah.
His face was so sunken, he looked like a skeleton.
Yeah.
But he was dry. I mean,
Yeah.
wasn't his biggest, but he was still big. But he
Yeah.
was shredded. I mean, to the bone shredded. Do you think that the guys today are thinking there's too much emphasis on like, I got to be full. I got to be full, that they're not willing to drop that last 10 to 12 pounds to get the condition that you guys were?
Yeah, I do think it's a water problem. I don't know what they're doing to get rid of their water, but you're right. Back in the 90s, even if you were off, your face was still sunken in.
Yeah.
That showed you it did the work, and it's not about fullness, because Ronnie's face was always sunken in. He was the most shredded and most biggest guy on stage. I think that had to do with it also, just guys are being so focused on how big they are instead of how good they are. Bigger doesn't always mean better.
Yeah.
For certain guys, definitely it means that. But I think now, you know, when you look at guys like Derek and Heidi, the amount of weight that they put on, there's a sacrifice with condition that's going to come along with that.
Yeah.
You know, so I agree with you also on that aspect, Eric.
Like getting back to the seminars, Flex, when I used to live in Toronto, I just started driving. I was about 16, 17. And I used to go to Henderson Torrance gym. You remember Henderson?
Yeah, Henderson.
And I was there, the young kid, you know, skinny, trying, you know, to train, crazy about bodybuilding. And on one side of me, there was Laura Cravel doing a leg press with her blonde hair, you know, fantastic physique in her prime. And Henderson Torrance coming out of the office. We were alone in the gym. It was late at night. And I asked him, I said, Henderson, how the hell, like, he was at just, you know, almost at his prime, you know, he was really full. I said, how can I become like you? If that had to be asked today, somebody would take you into their office and say, you have to do this, that, and that. You know what he told me? He said, you're European, right? I said, yeah. He said, keep eating the pasta, go have a burger and train. That's all he told me. Just eat and train. He didn't mention anything. No protein powders, nothing. He just
no drugs. You didn't mention drugs.
You wouldn't hear of those things in the gym. You wouldn't hear of anything in the gym back then. You know,
Yeah.
I once asked another Portuguese guy. He was a construction worker, fantastic physique. He told me, the only thing he told me was, before I come to the gym, have half a glass of wine to get a pump. That's all he told me. You wouldn't hear any of these things. Fast forward 10, 15 years, the whole industry went upside, you know, everybody's talking about.
Got to do 1,000 milligrams of tren.
Yeah.
You know, crazy stuff.
That's
Yeah, Eric, you had said there's more. I call it sports technology drugs because it's so.
It's really what it is.
Yeah, there's more out there now, but I don't think that's as an advantage. You know, I think the things that we used back then, they were proven to work, and there wasn't a wide variety. And I hear so much about this trend, and it's never anything positive at all. I hear that it gives you like flu-like symptoms, and how toxic it is. It's incredibly intoxic, and you can't be on it for long periods of time. And for me, right there, that spells it's like an atom bomb. You're playing with something that's so toxic. I don't see how anything good can come off of it. And I just absolutely everybody that I hear competing is talking about that and using that. Even women.
Yeah.
Even women. I know that for sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this again. I
What
just
did you
wanted to
say?
kind
You
of.
said you know that for sure.
I know women who use it, so I mean, yeah. So I know it for sure. I know it for sure. I mean, I've had women clients who are bodybuilders come to me, and I'll be like, what were you doing for your last? I want to
Yeah,
know what they were doing before,
yeah, of course.
and I would see large amounts of trend, and I'm like, are you serious? I mean, like things like D-ball and things that guys, if
Yeah,
anything, should.
yeah,
So it's amazing how. I mean,
yeah,
I even know I was even talking to a girl from Brazil where wellness has grown from, and she told me the girls in Brazil are all using trend, the wellness girls. So yeah, it's amazing what I agree with you. I think that the basics is what if you even just look at the physiques in the 70s, the Arnolds, the Ed Corneys, the Francos, you put those in today's gyms, blow away 99.9999% of anything that you see. And back then, what did they use? Probably barely anything. It was
yeah,
just
yeah,
training
yeah,
hard, hours a day, eating, and
yeah,
maybe I remember back then they used to talk about like, oh, I'm taking 5 milligrams of D-bol. Should we try 10? Like they
yeah,
were scared. Now it's
yeah,
like they come in 50 milligram tablets. It's
yeah,
you know
yeah.
how
And
it's
also, let me
crazy.
ask you. I mean, let's talk about it. The whole insulin situation now, I think, has also ruined
I
a
can't
lot.
stand it.
I have I've lost so many clients, and I'm okay with it because they'd ask me about insulin. I'm like, listen, we're not talking about that.
Thank you. I won't
I'm
do it either.
I'm not advising you about that. Listen, what you have to do is dangerous enough, but I am not going to have you take something that if you barely mess up, you die.
You can die.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, it's
not.
true.
I think I think there's so many people that are taking insulin now that it's like an epidemic with that, and I think
I think
that's
it's part of a
reason.
normal protocol.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's another
And
why they don't have the separation and the hardness
oh, I
of that.
agree.
Also, I think that is the reason why you see a lot of the distended midsections
Yeah.
because it affects all your internal
Yeah.
organs.
Yeah.
And it also requires you in order to not pass away from it, and in order it makes you eat an enormous amount of food that you don't need and can't process. And
Yeah,
you keep distending the stomach because if you take enough insulin, in order to not have blood sugar drop so low that you can go into a coma, you have to feed yourself like crazy. So I just don't.
yeah,
I'm like you. I will not discuss insulin with a client. I won't use it. And if they want to
yeah.
use it, then I'm not your coach. I mean,
Yeah, I tell them I like, hey, listen, I'm not your guy, or even, and I don't want to take you off of your protocol of what you wanted to talk about, but I get clients and the first thing like I want to win the Olympia. I'm like, hey, I'm not your guy. No, 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 I want to work with you. No, no, no,
I know.
I'm not your guy. I'm like, how can I promise you that you're going to win the Olympia when I couldn't even do it for myself? So immediately, no matter what, you're going to think I failed you. So I'm
Yeah.
not your guy.
That is, I mean, we could definitely do a whole show on the coaching stuff, but it does make me laugh that, when I went into bodybuilding, back in my day, we were in bodybuilding, it's like you thought to yourself, I'm not even going to step on stage for 5 or 6. I want to like build a physique. Now you get somebody who's never even lifted a weight, and I'm like, what's your goal? Well, in a year, I'd like to win my pro card. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? You
Yeah.
weigh a buck 50 and you want to win your pro card in a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. So yeah, that we
So,
can be off on that forever. But I want to stay a little bit on the Olympia, discuss a couple
look,
of more things.
Eric,
What did you want to say?
before we, I don't know what you're gonna ask about the Olympia. I just want to mention one guy that deserves all the praise is Brandon.
Well, I was definitely going to talk about Brandon because damn, did he come into this show in shape at the Olympia?
Wow.
Did you? I mean, did you? I mean, I did not expect Brandon came in the best shape in years with bigger legs,
He
incredible
improved.
condition.
He
And
improved his legs.
I honestly would have, and I love you, Nick. I would have put him in front of Nick Walker for this show. That's how good I think he was.
Yeah, and just for him to be aging and been in the sport for so long to bring in a better condition. Actually, I didn't see any pictures of him because he wasn't evidently in the runnings. And like I said, at the Olympia, I was out of the country, so I could only see the pictures that they posted up. But I didn't know that. But looking at him now, it's like he looks
Right.
better here than he did when he actually won the Olympia.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when
Look
I
at
saw
that.
him walk out flex, I went, "Damn, look at
Yeah,
Brandon."
look
And
at that.
he was quiet, like you didn't see anything really about him leading up to the Olympia, and then he
His
walked out on
bicep
stage, and I'm like,
separation,
"Holy
everything.
crap, he should be
Yeah.
Yeah,
first call out."
racing through the pectorals and the lat spread.
And look at his legs; they're way
Yeah,
bigger than they used to be.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Wow.
Yeah, I easily could have seen him in sixth place. So yeah, I was going to discuss that. So we discussed it right here. So
Sorry
Brandon looked
about
amazing.
that.
What do you think about what did you think about Andrew? What did you think about Andrew Flex at the show?
I thought he was in better shape. One thing and it's kind of like back when we trained together. I think his upper body is continuing to grow, but he need legs underneath him. As wide and as big as his upper body is, I think that's even becoming more glaring. See his upper legs improving along with his upper body now. Definitely, I
Yeah,
think probably the
they
leanest.
need more sweep
Yeah, yeah, more sweep, and I don't know
and
if
more hang on the hamstring, I would say.
I don't know if it's a hereditary thing that he can build them or not, but if not, build the inner quads up, build your quads up wherever you can now.
Right, wherever you can.
Probably the best overall condition. I don't know about that Ronnie pose there, bro. When Ronnie did that, he just shut the lights off. But I think the best.
You can't be Ronnie.
So,
That's the goat. I'm sorry. You can't be
yeah,
Ronnie.
yeah, yeah. But it's. I mean, even you can see some cross striations coming through on the quads. But you look how wide his shoulders are and how massive he is in his upper body. I just think that once he gets legs, and your legs is your foundation, they need to probably be the most powerful point. But I think once he has legs that matches his upper body, it's going to be what we all been waiting for Andrew to be able to deliver.
Do you think that he's a potential Olympia winner if he
Oh
keeps
yeah,
to improve?
of course,
He's
100%.
working
I
with
think
Kamal.
everybody said that from the first time they ever seen him. It's just we've been waiting for that to come to fruition. This was probably the closest
Yeah.
that we've seen him. But yeah, if he can just bring more size to his legs with that type of condition, he looks even more powerful.
He's working with Kamal Garni and Chris Aceto.
Yeah.
So Kamal's training and stuff like that. So he improved for Romania apparently, for the win in Romania. So
Yeah, I seen that.
yeah. So
So the last part of the Olympia that I want to talk about, and then we have something new we wanted to present to you. I don't know how close you followed Nick Walker, who another guy who used to train at the Dragon's Lair, great guy, one of the
Yeah,
hardest
yeah,
workers, one of the
yeah.
hardest workers you're gonna find, one of the most dedicated, passionate guys. You saw pictures of him. I saw pictures of him on Instagram looking really awesome on his way up to the Olympia. I thought maybe we were gonna possibly see, the best Nick yet. And then he walks out on stage, and it was a disappointment. Like he just wasn't nearly what I thought it was gonna be, especially prejudging. A little improvement at the night show. Did you follow that? Did you see that? That he was not what
Yeah,
you
and
expected?
that's what I mean by just the human body. We're trying to trick it into certain stages, and sometimes it just doesn't matter what you do. It catches up to you, and it actually kind of like how they say where certain establishments were built where water was, and you have water that comes back and reclaim that. Obviously, him going into the show, he was on target, and we're looking like we were going to see the best Nick Walker, but I don't know what happened during that time period. But yeah, it didn't pan out.
I mean, I look at Nick Walker and I love the guy. I mean, now I think he fired his coach again. So he's now without a coach. And I actually offered to be his coach. I'm like, Nick, I'll take you on. But anyway, um, my opinion of Nick is like, listen, the guy is just packed with muscle.
Yeah.
I kind of feel though that he's starting to get a little bit wider in the waist, which is not good. I mean, it's not good for him. I feel like he should come down in weight. He could sacrifice a little bit of pure bulk and size because he's already got so much. And I think that it would bring his waist in a little bit more, give him a little bit, make him harder, give him more lines. And I think that would play off better for him. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. He's one of those guys where bigger isn't better, and that seems like what he's targeting. I think I've seen him in better shape, and him be able to control his waistline better at other shows. I don't think this was nowhere near the best version of Nick we seen when he won the Arnold Classic. I think he was a little bit more streamlined. He was a lot harder that he was with Olympia. But again, looking at his photos going into the show, something definitely changed and didn't pan out for him.
Yeah. I mean, even when you think about Ronnie, who to me is, the most incredible physique that ever, if he walked on stage at his best now, there's no one's touching him. I mean, he's crazy. Like when I was sitting in the audience in the 2003 Olympian, when he walked on stage at like 287, I actually started laughing because I had never seen anything so ridiculous in my life, you know. But after that, he started getting into the 290s, and then he was like near 300, and his waist started getting wider, and wasn't as crisp. So even for Ronnie, that played against him. It's kind of just like he didn't need to do that. He already had so much muscle. He was already bigger than everybody. So I think some of these guys who try to get, they have so much muscle, but they start to try to gain more. It takes away from their look. So I think that's why I was thinking with Nick. I think that Nick is still potentially that first call out top three guy at the Olympia. He just has to find his path backwards to, what his best look, which I don't think is more muscle.
Bigger isn't better. Better is
Yeah,
better.
not always, better is better,
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about with the Olympia. Are you good, Kevin?
Yeah, yeah. Did you want to go into the feature or do you want to talk
I,
about the
wa-
thing of Prague
I want to
first?
go into the feature now because we've been on for
Okay.
a while.
All right. All right.
So Flex, Kevin and I have been talking about something for a couple weeks that we want to introduce to the show today, and we thought it would be perfect to do it with you. We want to kind of do a little feature that where we call it, I don't know what we're going to call it yet, but kind of like a look back. We want to start going back to some older shows, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, taking a look at some older contests, seeing what the guys look like, and just evaluating the show, almost like we're looking at it like it's a new show. The first show we wanted to do, 93 Ironman. A guy named Flex Wheeler walks on stage at his first pro show looking like a cartoon character. I thought you looked like a cartoon character at that show, like it wasn't like it was the beginning of AI. That's what I thought you looked like
So to get
back
people,
when you won that
yeah,
show. So we wanted to take a little look back at that show and kind of
yeah.
review it with you, if you
So
wouldn't mind being our first look back.
to get people in the picture, obviously Ken Flex won, right? He beat Lila Brada. So, Vince
I mean,
Taylor,
look at those names in the top five.
yeah.
I mean,
Paul
Yeah.
Dillett, JJ
Paul,
Marsh, yeah.
look at
Franco,
Flavio in sixth place.
Yeah.
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 Mike Ashley, Robbie Robinson, Ron Love, it was a
Yeah.
stacked lineup. So,
Yeah.
um, basically, I have some footage here. Let me go. Hopefully, it doesn't play. Let me
So
play
as
it
he's
again.
looking for this footage, Flex, just curious, you're
Yeah.
going into your first pro show. When you went into your first pro show, is your mindset, I'm going in to win? Or is it just like, I can't believe, or, and I know you're always just like, I'm not going to win or whatever, but were you going in to win? You're just like, I just want to be the best I can be and have fun. Like, what was your first pro show? What were you thinking?
It was like in my backyard, and I seen so many great competitors compete in that show. It was just for me, it was just a natural thing to jump into the first pro show of the year, and it's right there in Redondo Beach, like 30 minutes away from my home. But no, I mean, I've said this before. I knew Lee was coming into the show. I knew Vince was coming into the show. So that's the number two and number three bodybuilder in the world. So I knew those guys were going to win. They're seasoned veterans at that time. So I was just there, man. I mean, obviously, I tried to carry myself with a degree of arrogance, like I'm the man and everything like that. But I was just happy to be there, up on stage, man. And and competing. I was happy to be at the party. I didn't know I was going to be a VIP at the party. I was just happy to be there.
Were you,
You
were you
notice,
shocked when you were
you
were you
guys
shocked when you were in the first call out center stage? Were you like, what am I doing in the center?
Yeah, I was. I completely was, but still, I thought, Vince and Labrada, they've been at this so long, they're going to overtake me at some point, at the show and everything like that. And, still, even after I won, I thought like, they're going to show up at my house any
They're
minute,
gonna take it.
back from me that we made a mistake.
That was also, I believe, Paul Dillette's first pro
Yeah,
show
it
too.
was also, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was like he was also that was a freak, man. Paul
Yeah,
Dillette was a freak of
Paul was,
nature.
yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, I mean, I train in the gym with him every day, and I was like, "There's no way I'm beating this guy."
He's so big.
I mean, his nickname was Jurassic Paul.
Look at him.
Yeah, just like, come on, man. And he just walked around at 290 pounds with abs. He'd always pull his shirt up. I'm like, you bastard.
And like a flat, perfect abs, like
Oh yeah,
tiny waist.
yeah, definitely.
What
Yeah,
did you? What did you? What were you? Do you remember what you weighed on stage at this first show?
232. Yeah, 232.
So you really came down a lot between this and the Arnold. A lot.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. It was, and it is nothing that I did different. I ate the same. I was dieting the same. It just dropped off me. Obviously, that was a good thing because I'm like, Lee's a pro, Vince the pro. They probably made us a little slight mistake. They're coming in guns blazing, next weekend. And that was the thing back then. It was a week after. The shows were always a week after. So I started to understand that I had the type of body that could stay in shape for longer periods. And I just always got better as each show went on. But no, I mean, dude, I was just happy to be there. I didn't know what was going on at all. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, that's why I remember this show very well, and I remembered when you turned pro, and I just remember seeing, back then it wasn't like there was Instagrams. I was seeing things on the fly, so it's just like
Yeah,
you're waiting to see the magazine, or you're waiting to see a videotape come out or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw you at this show, I was like, to me, you didn't look real. Like you looked like what people would say, oh, it looks like AI. I think like your joints were so small and your muscle bellies were so round and full that I don't know. I just thought it was absolutely unbelievable at the show. And you remember that great lighting they always had at the Ironman, the great
yeah,
stage lighting, so everybody looked great.
yeah. Because Mike Nephew took charge of the lighting back then, and it was lit for photographers, which was
He was amazing. He was
athletes.
amazing.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
still friendly with any of these guys that were up there with you, Vince and JJ
Oh
and
yeah,
all those guys?
yeah. Me and Labradas are followers in Christ, so we're really close. I see Paul every once in a while when he comes down to the show. Vince, not so much, but a few years ago when his son was running track and field, we used to talk all the time on Facebook back then. So Facebook was a big thing. But yeah, JJ Mars actually, when I had my kidney transplant, I remember waking up and he was sitting in my hospital room. And I was like, JJ, is that you? And he goes, yeah, man, it's me. And I passed out again. And when I woke up, he was gone. And later on, I called him like, was that really you in my room? He's like, yeah, man, I flew down to come and see you. And we stay in contact. But yeah, I'm pretty much in contact with all the guys from back then.
Wow, that's awesome that you're still in contact with those guys. I mean,
Yeah.
we know Lee Labrada stays in amazing shape all the time. He always looks like he could step back on stage.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I know Vince Taylor's also still looking really good, and at his age, he's still looking fantastic too.
Yeah. He was able to go and win Olympia as a Masters.
I know he really stayed in shape. And the funny thing is, I actually saw Paul when I was walking around the lobby at the Olympia. I saw Paul Dillette, but I had to take like 3 looks at him because I remember Paul at 290 being like the biggest freak, and he looked like he weighed maybe 190. Like I couldn't. It was crazy. He looked like he disappeared, and it was really surreal to see him. I'm like, is that Paul? I'm like, it is Paul. It was crazy. Is
that
that
was
your
a
dog?
Yeah.
that was a real breakout year for you, Flex. You won the Arnold, you won in France, you won in Germany, you won the Ironman, you placed second at the Grand Prix of England
Yeah.
and the Olympia. That was a great year for you.
Yeah. I don't like beat my chest on it, but still that, I'm proud that still that's the best pro debut in the history of the
Wow.
Oh, for
entire
sure.
sport. I need to
Yeah.
market that a little bit more.
What that year, you turned
Zeus,
pro.
I'm
Hey,
sorry.
Zeus, calm down.
All
We got a
right.
podcast.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that every time we do another podcast with you, you'll bring Zeus on. He'll be twice the size.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Growing
dude. Yeah. He
every
is
single
like,
time.
yeah, he's growing. Yeah.
But so you had that pro debut. I'm sure. I mean, obviously there was a lot of eyes on you. Did like major stuff happen? After the night after you won that show, with like supplement company, like magazine covers. Was it like kind of like a whirlwind after that?
No, so I mean, the crazy thing about it is, at the USA, obviously Joe Weider was there back then, and Joe Weider was on one side, and Jim Mannion was on the other side, and they're fussing while we're taking pictures. And Jimmy's like, "You take care of him." He goes, "I'll give him a contract." He goes, "You better give him a contract." He goes, "I'll give him a contract." So I was given a contract right then, but the great thing about it is after that, my pro debut, I was able to go back and sit with Weider and he actually increased my contract, which he
Oh,
never really done that back in those days. But, you know, um, I'm just wired different. After that, it was just a lot of pressure of expecting me to do well. And,
Yeah.
what I hated is if I was off and a person who beat me, they were great. But if I won, oh, you're supposed to do that. I'm like, come on, man. Give
yeah,
me
it's not
some.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah, not fair. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
no. So back then, guest posing was crazy. And I
Yeah.
remember I did 88 appearances globally that
Holy
year,
crap.
just traveling. So we're able to make a lot of money. Back then, people bought 8x10. So obviously, being able to sell just a massive amount of photos and make a lot of money. You had the FIBO back then where it was absolutely insane. And the Weeder booth was, it was almost like a freaking city block, and he had every great name there. So it was amazing, man. But still, at that point in time, I didn't know what was going on historically wise. I was just, I was always wired that when a show was over with, um, enjoying myself that Saturday. But come Sunday, nobody's scared of me. Nobody's going to be running from me from the next show. So don't get too high on a hog because you still got work to do. And I was always, like that. And even like talking to Ronnie sometimes, I'm like, man, do you remember any of our battles? And he's like, nope, I don't remember nothing. And I'm like, I don't either. So I just, I kind of wish I would have slowed down and just enjoyed the process now. And that's something I really like, really preach to Keone. Enjoy this, man. Just the good, the bad, the ugly, just slow down and just enjoy all of it because,
Yeah.
it's going to be gone one day and you want to have those great memories of that. And he goes, I will, big homie. I will. So, but yeah, it was amazing back then.
Do
Was
you
it?
think,
Go ahead.
sorry, Eric.
You go first. Go ahead.
But going back to being in the condition was different. You said you did all those guest posing jobs. Do you think that helped maintain the physique and get that hard posing weekend after weekend after weekend? Do you think that the bodybuilders are not doing that as much this year in this era as back then?
I think posing period helps your condition, and
Hmm.
that's what a lot of guys don't do now. I mean, it was just a known thing before a show. We were going the posing room 5 weeks out for a show, and we would pose hours in there. That just brings conditioning. It brings hardness. It brings the ability to just barely blow down, and your serratus and abs just shoots in. Muscle control, and also just transition stuff like that. As far as like guest posing, no. I just, back then I never went over like 4% body fat. I would probably carry a lot of water, but I just
Yeah.
naturally just always stayed lean. I'm kind of like a hybrid, an ecto meso, naturally, skinny, but was able to put on muscle. So in my youth, that really played a role in it. But what it did teach me is the ability to learn how to control the crowd. And that's one thing on stage. That's probably the only thing I miss out of bodybuilding is actually performing, because I put so much in a posing, and I kind of looked at it like, you can have an actor in a movie, he's acting, you're sitting there,
Yeah.
yet he's causing an effect. If it's a racial situation, he's causing you to respond to that. Yet this person. So I'm like, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to cause people, if I'm posed in slow, I want to be able to cause them to be emotional. I want them to be in tune. So even with my routine, people respond to music. So I understood if I came out to powerful, wild music, people are going to be going crazy. But I'm like, I always came out to really slow music, because I'm like, no, I want you to calm down, and I want to perform for you.
Yeah.
I want to put on a show for you. But I also knew that at a point they would get bored. So I'd always leave the last 15 seconds to hype the music up to get them, going again. But that's one thing I learned in guest posing around the world, is the ability to tune into the crowd and perform for them, instead of just being up there hitting poses and saying, yeah, come on, applaud me.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you real quick. So a lot of people, guys, whatever, it doesn't matter. When you turn pro, when you're trying to turn pro, you don't have as many contracts, you're not as well known. You can really focus 100% on your training, your nutrition, your sleep, the whole 9 yards. Then you turn pro, you do really well like I did, and now your time is in demand, from all different ways. Did it become much more of a challenge once you turned pro, where you had the success where now you have a bunch of responsibilities to get ready for shows because now you're so in demand? I mean, like a lot of times I think when people turn, let's just say Mr. Olympia, the pinnacle, and now they're representing the sport as the best in the world, they're not ready for how much responsibility. They might not be able to train consistently or be at home to train. They got to train on the road. They got to fly here. They got to fly there. Did you have that at all? Did you feel that?
No, because I was so, like, for me, I just looked at bodybuilding different. I always looked at it as a job, not a sport. Where a lot of guys will say, I would do this whether I was being paid or not. And I'm like, I wouldn't. I need a job. So I always understood the better I looked, the better I did in shows, the more I'm going to be in demand on guest posing. And that gives me an opportunity to walk back in and talk to my sponsors about, hey, this is how well I did. I deserve to get paid more. So it was always that challenge for me. I always looked at it that way. I mean, going into shows, if Ronnie wasn't there, I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to win. I'm number 2. I'm supposed to hold it down.
Yeah.
But no, it actually, it should enable you to be better, because you don't have to worry about where's your next meal coming from. There's consistent money coming in. So for me, it's like, this is my job. And I remember, like, I was very militant about being in a gym. I didn't really talk to anybody. And I'd always get people like, man, why you never smile? And I'm like, I'm at work. You're here just training. But this is my job. So imagine if I came into your job and you're in a meeting, like, hey, man, how you doing?
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
get
very
out of
true.
here. I'm at work. So that's the way I looked at it. It was my job, and I was paid to do these things. And it kind of gave me the freedom of, man, this is all I got to do. Eat, sleep, train. That's it. And try to get better. So for me, no, it actually helped me. I don't, as far as like, I never reached the pinnacle of being the best, so I always had to continue trying harder. But I will equate back to something great Arnold said. It's like, yeah, maybe you're not as hungry, but when you're ready to eat, the food is always there.
Yeah, that's famous line from Pumping Iron. Great. That's a line only Arnold will come up with.
Oh,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. King of
He's so quick.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and Kevin, is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I
No,
covered everything I wanted to go with.
I want to ask you some. I'm just curious to see what you think about. I don't know if you saw that video of Fitzwater this week, going up to Giles at the Prague. Giles was recording with his mobile, reporting on the show. I think he was a commentator, and uh, Fitzwater came up to him and he said, something about talking shit about me, and he hit his mobile. I don't know if you saw the footage. Um, do you think that this was because Giles thought that Bumstead should have beat him the year before, which he had a good argument because Fitzwater wasn't at his best. He was injured. He had some slight hamstring. He popped, on stage, and he got filled. He wasn't looking his best, and lots of people thought Bumstead should have beat him last
Mm,
year. So at
mm,
this Prague show, he went up to him during the pose down when they went into the crowd, and he said some words to him, and Jazz, really took it hard. Do you think that crosses the barrier, like crosses the line where media, like it's preventing them from giving their opinion on an athlete, like we did today? I mean, we
yeah,
should have Hadi Chupan now, Fitzwater, Keon, everybody coming after us because we criticized. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Do you think they should take not critic? I mean, it's opinions. They
yeah.
should just
No, I didn't know anything about that, but I seen a video
yeah
of Dennis James and some other guys, not Dennis, but Chris Cormier
yeah
talking about that.
yeah
So, and they gave a clear depiction of what happened. So, no, you're in a sport where you're going to be critiqued. I mean, and listen, they were rough on us back in the days. I mean, they would literally, hey man, you were smooth as a baby's
Peter
ass.
McGuff.
Yeah, they were horrible. You know, no, you're in a world where you're going to be subjective to other people's opinions. You have to have thicker skin than that. But like I did say earlier, Fitzwater came from a background, a very
Yeah,
physical
yeah.
background,
That's the
and
thing.
that's the world that he lives in. And even
Yeah,
as he said, that bodybuilding saved him, he'd be dead or in prison. So,
yeah,
that is something that he's going to have to mature and get over because
yeah.
listen, the truth is when they stop talking about you, then you're not a presence anymore. But no, he took a little bit too far and actually touching his phone. I mean,
Yeah.
that can go in a number of different ways. You can press charges against him.
Yeah. And
That
the
can
thing
be.
is, Jazz he had a open heart surgery 2 years ago. So he said on Ron Harris's channel that he wasn't feeling well afterwards. He has to go get checked. Like he, you know, you have to be careful
You
as
got to
well.
be responsible.
Yeah.
And you see that across a lot of different professional sports, not just bodybuilding. You
No,
see
no.
sometimes in football where commentators and athletes gets into it. What as athletes, what we have to understand is everybody isn't going to like us. Everybody's not going to be respectful when they talk
Yeah,
about us.
yeah. But
But
the thing,
we are paid, and we do make our living off the
yeah,
public. So
yeah,
we're going to open up that. And on the other side, now being a commentator, I just choose to try to say more enlightening words. Like back
yeah,
when MD was a powerhouse and we covered all the shows all over the world. I'd be like, hey man, he probably didn't look his best. He probably come in better instead of like just harping like this dude looked horrible. Oh my
no, you
God.
can't.
There's
But
certain
yeah,
ways that you can say the same thing. Like I can let do shut up. I'm saying something, or I can be like, hey, what I was trying to say is,
yeah,
so you can say the same thing and get the message across.
yeah.
I don't think that he was out of line in anything he said, but for some people, it's hard. They take it very personal, but
Yeah,
you got to be a professional. You
yeah.
got to be aware of that.
But the funny thing is, then afterwards there was some after party. Giles went, he sat there. Martin apparently walked in front of him like 4 times. So if you had a problem, they could have sat down and talked about it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Doing it while you're doing your pose down.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a
No,
bit,
there's going to be a lot of maturing that Martin's going to have to come to,
yeah,
especially now that he's a threat. He's
yeah.
going to be under the spectrum a lot more. He's going to be
I mean,
talked about a lot more. He's going
yeah,
to be nitpicked and picked apart a
yeah,
lot more. And that's something he's going to have to mature and accept because and his background is go physical. Someone
Yeah.
says something, be physical towards him. I get
Yeah.
that. I come from
Yeah.
that
No,
world,
no.
that if you said something about somebody in a neighborhood, expect for them to come and handle their business. There's no talk about it.
Yeah.
But as a professional, you got to be aware this is the world that you live in. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
definitely going to be some maturing
Yeah.
that Martin has to have, and I look forward to having that conversation with him and trying to help him get over that hurdle. Because yeah,
Especially
man,
especially bodybuilding, you're there to get criticized. I mean,
yeah,
that's the sport. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
You're
So
at your most vulnerable sports. Listen, you're basically naked in front of the world saying, "Look at me."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
and the truth of the matter is, no matter who you are, if you from Ronnie Coleman to Flex Wheeler to Arnold Schwarzenegger, everyone's got their critics. I mean,
of
if you
course,
don't have thick skin
yeah,
and you want to go on Instagram and read what people are saying when you put up a post, half of it's going to be, oh, go flex, and someone's going to be
yeah,
like, flex, you suck. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
even
yeah,
even myself, when I put up coaching videos, some people say you don't know what you're doing, and you can't read that
yeah,
and buy into it. And of course, bodybuilding being the completely subjective sport that it is,
yeah,
yeah.
what some people think is the best in the world, some people think is not the best in the
Very,
world.
very
So
subjective.
you can't, if a football team wins 37-34, that's the score. Of course, some people complain, the referees, this and that, but there's a score. But with bodybuilding, it's I think he looks better than him,
Yeah,
so and of course I really wish that this on the other side of it, and I'm sure that this guy Giles didn't say anything bad. I wish on the other side of it that some people would express things differently than they do. Like,
yeah,
why do you have to express hate? One of the things I hate, and this is just kind of going off of what we were talking about, I hate the negativity that we see in this world now.
yeah.
It's like
Oh,
you guys go up on stage, they're some of the best in the world, and these people who have 13-inch arms are criticizing them. This guy looked like shit. This guy was fat. This guy, this and that. Like, first of all,
yeah,
you have no right to be saying it. You're not one of the
yeah,
best in the world. And second
yeah,
of all, why do you have to be so negative? I hate the
yeah,
negativity. That's one thing about social media, Flex, that kills me is the so much negativity out there. Like everybody should just be a little bit more friendly and a little bit more
yeah,
give people grace and just say like, hey, I didn't, in my opinion, he didn't look his best. Hopefully next
yeah.
show he'll come in
listen,
Yeah,
better instead of
I
saying,
believe in
you look
speaking
like
exactly.
garbage. What did he do?
yeah, listen,
Yeah, I believe in speaking exactly that way. I did had to mature from the internet because there would be people that say really hard and racist things to me, and I'd
yeah,
be like, I'd send them a private message. Hey, Bill, you know where I live. You know, the next show I'm gonna, let's bury the hatchet, meaning let's bury the hatchet. And I had to get over that because I started finding out that they would respond like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you responded to me," and they're actually really a fan. So I like, okay, and then I would get messages from other people like, "Come on, Flex, man, you got to be bigger than that," come on, man, and I'd have to then go publicly apologize on that thread. So you
yeah,
do have to mature, but I believe, yeah, we live in a world that's like that, and for me. I understand when people put somebody else down because of what they're doing, they just pointed out or highlighted where you're weak at.
yeah,
So a lot of those guys don't have great physiques and they're looking at great physiques, so they feel insecure. So
yeah,
as
Correct.
an insecure person, you're going to spit out this
Exactly.
putrid about them. So that's just the world we live in, and it's being pushed by very powerful people to separate us with this hate and
Right.
everything
Well,
like that.
that's
I
we know
I
that for sure.
agree.
That's
I'm
a
with you.
yeah,
It should just be about love and respect, and hey,
yeah.
let's get along and move on and try to make each other better.
Listen,
But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in
I
anymore.
I
I know.
take a lot of photos at the amateur contests and stuff, and when the young athletes that some of them are going to step on stage for the first time, they're saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. People are going to laugh at me. I say, listen, man, wherever you place, you already won because you're stepping on that stage. And
Yeah,
I tell them, forget about everything. Just smile and enjoy yourself. It's only a trophy.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and and then you see them, they relax a bit because they're scared that they're going to get criticized or laughed at or you know I mean like this weekend there was this, everybody was shredded, guys from Tunisia and Libya and all this stuff. There was the Mediterranean Championships, and there was one kid, he came up locally, fantastic frame, but he was, he wasn't cut. He was a bit bulky. He looked like he was like 20 weeks out. But it was his first show, right? He did the juniors and he went into the open as well. And actually, hear people saying, not that he's out of shape. This kid has the basis. He has the structure to be a fantastic bodybuilder. So even that, he got positives. And I told him after the show, I said, you see, people are talking about you, even though you placed dead last. You have a future. You know what I mean? So you have to take the positives from the negatives as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So, but
Well,
anyways,
we'll just hope that Martin matures. You can have a talk with him, Flex, and just say,
yeah,
hey,
Yeah, I
chill
hope
out.
to. He's open to it. Open to it. Yeah, definitely.
But
Because
you have to
you
you
need,
have to have thick skin.
yeah, you need guys who went before you to kind of help pull up these guys, these younger guys, instead of
of course.
on and then putting down. You need to come with them with love and respect. Like, hey, man, you interested in talking? Well, hey, listen, I went through the same thing, and this is what you're going to go through, and this is what you're going to have to learn. So I think we'll be able to have that conversation. But yeah, definitely, that can put him in a world where he don't want to be in. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, it can go really bad for him.
Yeah.
It's not a good look. But yeah, I think you're like, I mean, obviously I was never on your level of bodybuilder, Flex, but like I know that as a coach and being a guy of our age group, one of the things that I love to do when I get younger guys to coach is to also mentor them,
Yeah.
mentor them through the
Yes.
sport as they come up, and not just give them sets and reps and a diet, but
Yeah.
also say, this is how you should handle yourself. This is how you
Yeah.
should handle yourself on stage. Shake the hands of everybody that beats you. This is how you should handle it if you don't get a sponsorship you want. Like whatever. I think it's very, very important. Like you said, to the guys that came before who've learned to show, especially this younger generation, which is a completely different younger generation
Yeah.
than a lot of the stuff that's going on with the younger generation is like,
Yeah.
whoa, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
love to be able to mentor people from a young age and carry them through the sport. So not only are they doing well on stage, but they're doing well off
In
the
life.
stage as well,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
life.
And it's life after bodybuilding,
Yeah.
so
And there's
definitely.
life around bodybuilding too. Doesn't mean, you still have to have a
Dudes.
family and friends.
Yeah.
You still
Yeah.
have to have dogs. No, you still have to have social. You still have to
Yeah.
go to work. You're not
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was just my little
So
piece.
I guess that's it for today. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep Flex any longer because Zeus is going crazy, and
Yeah.
He is absolutely going crazy.
he's great. He's like, Dad, enough. Let's go. I want to play.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Flex,
Anyways,
man, thank you, brother, so much for coming
as
on again. So
usual. Yeah,
appreciated.
man.
I mean,
Always, Eric. Like I said, brother, anything for you, man. Anything for you.
thank you. So, and yes, we got to go out and get you a burger because now I know you are a burger
Oh,
man.
dude, I am
Yeah.
a Meister, brother. I'm
So
gonna
I'm
eat
picking
it.
you up in the Z06. I'm picking you up, and we're going to go to your favorite burger place. I'm going to get you a burger and film it, and then you see how happy Flex is with his burger.
Yeah, that was a
There we
good
go.
video. That
Let's
was a
make it
good
happen.
video. I saw it. Yeah. Yeah,
All
with
right.
Dexter.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All
See you,
right,
buddy.
Flex. I'll see you in the gym, and
Yep.
thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Take care, buddy.
Bye, buddy. See you.